Hello and welcome to the Boxing Life podcast with me, Tony Jeffries. Today we've got on the podcast Glenn, Mr. Six Figure Holmes. Glenn, how's it going?
It's going good. How's it going, everybody?
Going good. On the end there we've got Kev, co-owner, co-founder of Boxing Burn. Kev, how's it going, mate?
It's going well. I'm excited about this one. I think this will be a good one.
This is going to be a good one. This is something that the three of us are very passionate about. And if you noticed, I said 6 figure Holmes there, and 6 figures through what he does for a living, which is personal training. So to earn that much money being a personal trainer, you've got to be a good trainer, right?
Yeah, you've got to work your ass off as well.
Yeah.
Just to preface it. But yeah, you got to know what you're doing, I think.
So we've got experience here. Kev is a stud personal trainer, a stud businessman, and I'm all right at it as well. I'm all right. I know a little bit. So what does make... Let's get straight into it. Let's not beat around the bush. Kev, what would you say makes a good trainer?
Well, there's a lot. I'm trying to make a top 5 list right here. I think number one, I don't care who you are and what you know and you know what your goals are, but I think the number one thing I think for a trainer, or when looking for a trainer, is that trainer, that person that you're going to hire, that you're going to pay good money for to help you get your fitness and health back, has to genuinely care about you as a person and who and where you want to go and who you want to become. I think that's number one. If someone that you're working with just doesn't care, their mind is always somewhere else, they're always thinking about other things.
Right.
They're never going to be able to help you. I mean, sure, you can go through the motions and you might, get a good workout, but at the end of the day, that person's not going to know how to communicate with you. They're not going to really know what it is that you want to achieve, what your fitness goals are, and they just don't care. And if you have someone that and we see a lot. We're in LA. There's so many trainers here. You see that a lot, and it's just it's unfortunate. I think you have to genuinely care about helping that person. Yeah.
And you would think that comes easy being a trainer. You would think every trainer does that, but it doesn't. It's very hard to find a good trainer.
In this city, definitely, because I think a lot of people get into personal training while they're working on other things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of personal trainers who are trying to be actors, or they're trying to get into other industries or whatever, and this is kind of their little bit on the side to earn some money. So that's pretty par for the course over here in this town, is to find trainers who are like that. But I think what I was going to say is everything that we talk about in this, even though we're talking about personal training and fitness, I think you can apply it to anything.
Sure.
If you're hiring somebody for anything, whether it's fixing your fridge or whatever it is, if they don't care, you're not going to get quality back. So it goes for anything in life. I think the people that you hire and pay money for services, the first step on that you're going to be looking for is somebody who cares, who's got the passion for it.
Who cares? And like you said, it is pretty hard to find. And I think for me, finding a personal trainer as well as that is another thing is you've got to get on with a person. Mm-hmm. If you don't get on with them and you don't like them, I mean, it's going to be hard for you to build a reputation with them. So you've got to get on with them. They've got to have maybe same similarities. I don't know if they've got to have them, but you've got to have crack with them. You've got to have banter with them.
I think there's a skill in that too. I think most of the time you're going to attract what you are as a person. So the majority of the people that you do train, coming from a trainer's side of things, you're going to attract the kind of people that are interested in the kind of things that you're interested in, the style of training that you're interested in, that kind of thing. But at the same time, not everyone you train is going to be exactly the same. So you've got to kind of have those social skills and that ability to forge, personal relationships with different backgrounds, different opinions, different attitudes, and still find a way to keep those people engaged throughout the session and keep them entertained and focused and disciplined on what they're doing. It's
charisma, that's with anything, but charisma, charisma, you got to have it. And with that, you got to have the emotional intelligence. I know you guys hear me talk about that and say that a lot, but you have to know how to read people and understand, what pushes someone, what motivates someone, and how do you communicate to that person. Some people want to kind of that militant style of training, and they want to be pushed and they want to kind of be yelled at and told, you don't have a choice, you got to get this done. But that's not for everybody. So that's when it comes down to having that emotional intelligence to kind of maybe step back and pull back on a little bit more of those people that can scare off. That militant style is not for everybody, and you as a trainer have to have flexibility and the ability to read that about your people.
Right. Yeah. That's a big skill in itself. I used to personally hate a trainer on my back. Come on, Dad. I hated that. I'd rather have the calm person who tells you. And it's kind of the same with leadership in business when you've got employees. You know, someone you might have to shout at them to get something done. Someone else you might have to talk to them and get them to do it the other way. And I think it's the same with training, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's almost the main role of being a trainer, private training, is I think you're like a relationship builder first, and then a trainer second.
Yeah.
I think if you're good at building relationships, the rest will follow.
No, I think I agree with that, because you've got to, when building a relationship, you've got to have fun. Like I said before, you've got to really enjoy coming in. And I know all of my clients I train, which is not many, they all love coming to train with me, not because I'm the best trainer, because I'm not, but because they enjoy
your personality,
enjoy spending time with us. They're paying you for merely an hour of your time, so they want to enjoy it. They want to be able to talk about, might be TV or whatever. And Kev says this often about, it's kind of like a sort of therapy for some people, because they come out of their homes, out of the work, and they come to tell you about the problems, and we hear that often. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
What Kev touched on before about learning what people want as well is, recently I've someone I've trained for a while, but it's the first time this has ever happened in like the last 5 years I've been training people. She's the first client where she decides what she wants to do in the session. And it's like, for the longest time, I'd been planning out the sessions. I'd be like, oh, we're going to do this, going to do that. And she just doesn't, she doesn't respond well to like what I have planned. It's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, and put a sulk on. Can we go and do squats? Can we just hit the mitts? So I got to the point where I was getting really frustrated with her not doing what I was having planned. And I'm like, but she wasn't enjoying like me planning it out and saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's like, I don't enjoy doing that. I don't want to do that. And like, so, okay, I got to the point a few weeks ago, I was like, all right, what do you want to do today? I want to hit the mitts, I want to do some squat. All right, just want to hit the mitts today. I'm like, so now I don't even have to bother. She comes in, what do you want to do?
Yeah, and you care about her doing well, and you can, when she comes and asks you to do these things, you still make sure she does them right and do them right. Yeah. Like you said as well about Paul King, who's been on the podcast before. Paul King, self-made millionaire. You have checked that podcast out, it was great.
Yeah.
That he doesn't want to come in here and stand and work on great technique if he's boxing all the time. He'd be bored and he'd leave.
Definitely.
So he'd do boxing, not work on technique. He smashes the mitts and he gets his great workout and leaves, right?
Yeah. Everyone wants different things and they enjoy different things, and it comes down to understanding what's going to be best for that person, but also what they enjoy doing as well. So kind of more what's the word I'm looking for? Merging the two.
Yeah. Well, I think you do get that a lot. I think especially in a place like LA, where most people that you see, it's not probably their first time they've worked with a personal trainer. You know, most people we see have had trainers in the past, and you know they think they know a fair amount about what they need to be doing, which is fine. You can let them believe that, and you can find ways to strategically kind of use those things, but also kind of throw your stuff in that they may not know it just yet, but you know in the back of the head that they need to do it for these things. But you know, whether it's kind of mixing it in strategically in a circuit or however. You know, you have to have that flexibility and strategy with those sessions where, you know, she might come in here and tell you what she wants to do, but minute for minute for that session is probably not everything that she wants to do. But you kind of have the ability to be flexible and move through that session, because at the end of the day, you can get in shape 1,000 or 1,000,000 different ways, and you know, as long as you're coming in here, you're sweating, you're doing some strength and resistance training, you're getting stronger, you're whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be healthier at the end of the day, as long as you know how to instruct proper form and technique, you know,
and that comes down to the knowledge side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Knowledge and communication, knowing how to actually get that person to do what you want them to do. How to sit back and learn squat, or how to engage their core and get that pelvic tilt, whatever it is, you have to know how to instruct it and communicate it in a way for a variety of different people. Some people can get it right away, but those other people, you have to know how to kind of progress and regress things.
Definitely.
And a lot of people don't. They're just like, we're going to do a plank, and whether you do it right or not, this is what we're doing. Here's the plank.
One thing that stuck with me from a seminar we were at a while ago, they pulled up the definition of coach on the screen, and it was saying, your job as a coach, what's the definition of a coach? It's taking something from point A to point B. And that's kind of what you just said, Kevin. It's like you're taking that person on a journey from where they are when they come in to where they are when they hit their goals, or at the end of the hour, or whatever it may be. So that's your job, really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, this sounds like basic shit for what's a good trainer, but punctual. You know, we see it often where trainers will come in, they'll be late for a session, the client see before them. Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just professionalism in general. Punctuality, preparation, communication, all of those things they're so important, I think.
Yeah, and like following up with people, like what we've been talking about with our trainers a lot. One thing that I struggle with the most, and I'd like to see how you two both do this, being a trainer, I've trained people now for like 4 or 5 years, is when the first time the client comes in, learning how hard to push them, because if you push them too hard, they're not going to come back. If you don't push them hard enough, they're not going to come back. It's getting that right balance, which is hard, because some people, I mean, you both know this, that you'd be training them and you're thinking you're pushing them hard, and then you're looking for signs if they're going to crack or not, and then you'll stop, and then you stop, and then they're breathing fine, and you're like, did I not put... That for me is the hardest thing.
Judging that fitness level. Right. Some people will demonstrate fatigue more openly than other people.
So people have better poker faces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's the skill. That's probably one of the toughest skills, I think, is knowing exactly where somebody's at in a session. Yeah. Definitely.
Communication. You know, for us specifically with boxing, in between rounds, when you feel that way, I'm sure you're probably talking to them. How are you feeling? Are you liking this? You know, you have to communicate, especially those first few sessions, to kind of really get a feel for that person.
But the thing is, if talking to them, they're always going to say, "Oh, I'm all right, I'm all right." Yeah. Well, mainly, I remember I trained one woman. She was like overweight quite a bit. It was down the Santa Monica Bluffs before we opened this gym, and I remember it was the first time I ever trained anyone for like $100. I was like, "Wow, it's $100. It's a big pay." And I trained her, and she never came back. And I was like, I wonder why she never came back. And she didn't look fit. She looked out of shape. And I heard from a friend that it was because the session wasn't hard enough. Really? And I was devastated. I was like, wow, I didn't push her hard enough. Because I was like, I think I was giving her like minute rounds or 90-second rounds, where she trains 5 days a week. She's a beast. Yeah. But because her appearance didn't look like that, it was like, I put the... and it messed us up with a client. So that always stuck in the back of my head now. Yeah. But I would rather train them a little bit harder than not hard enough.
Definitely. I want that reputation as a trainer that, like, if you come and train with me, it's going to be a hard session. Not every single time, because there's a time and place to break it down and work on mobility and balance and things like that. But that comes later on down the line when you've established that relationship and you know that they need that. But I think from the get-go, you want to kind of set the tone that, like, this is going to be a hard, intense session, especially because the majority of the people that come in to train in this gym are looking to do boxing. They're looking to do something high intensity. They want that high heart rate and that work rate, you know.
Would you both say, here's another question for you, is like we're talking about the qualities of a good trainer. Is the quality of a good trainer he's experienced?
Definitely. I think a lot of the stuff we're talking about comes down to experience, like knowing when someone's tired, knowing when to push them, knowing when to regress, things like that. Communication. A lot of this stuff does come down to experience. Like the first year of me doing it, I didn't really know how to do that stuff, and I kind of not cruise, but like I relied on my personality a lot. Sure. And then as the knowledge and the experience comes with dealing people day in, day out, and then your knowledge of training and fitness and whatever else that comes with it, that builds over time. So I definitely think experience is a huge factor,
Yeah, it's of course it's going to be a factor for sure. And again, with everything else, you know, whether you're an athlete or you're a lawyer or you're a dentist or you're whatever it is that you do, experience is a huge factor, but it's not always the most important factor. I don't think I think with that, and I've found this, I think we probably all found a little bit of this when we first started training, is you kind of have to be brutally honest with people and tell them, like, look, like, no, you don't go in there into the session saying, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but say, look, I'm new to this, I'm trying to figure this out, I'm trying to kind of figure what works, what doesn't work.
You think that they should see that?
It does. I think what I'm going to end up saying,
if it's the first session, I mean,
well, it depends. If it's a referral or if it's, you know, you don't. My point is, stay away from the people that think they're superheroes and that they know it all. Because if you're trying to train with somebody and they think they know absolutely everything about anything, I'm telling you right now that they don't. Right. There's no. I mean, someone that's been training for 30, 40 years, I'm sure they know a lot, but it doesn't mean that they know it all. And at the end of the day, I've found and I've seen that people end up getting, you know, injured or they never get to their goals because this trainer just they know it all. They won't hear what you have to say. They don't want to. They just, I don't know. There's something about that bothers me. So like for me and from who I am as my personality, like what I'll always say to someone is, if we're trying to work around an injury or some impairment, I'll say, look, I know what I'm good at, and I may not know the most about your situation, but as long as we communicate and we keep a clear line of communication, you tell me how you're feeling. If something's bothering you, you let me know, and we'll move on from it. We'll regress or whatever. And you're brutally honest about that. You just tell them, like, I may not know exactly how to fix this, but I can either show you somebody that can, I can introduce you to somebody that can, or it's your job as a trainer to go and figure it out. And it doesn't necessarily mean there's a time and a place to go see a physical therapist or some doctor or not. But as a trainer, we aren't physical therapists. So I think a lot of trainers think that they are. Yeah. And I think that's unfortunate because you might know a few things, but in reality, you don't have that education, you don't have that background.
You can blag quite a bit, but you can't blag physiotherapy.
Right. Yeah, that honesty will build trust too.
Exactly. That's it. That's my point. I think again. You don't want to sell yourself short when you go into a session, but if you are honest with the person and tell them they ask for something that maybe you don't know the most about, don't sit there and pretend like you know. Yeah. Like if someone's telling you my back hurts, I have my lumbar issue, like I'm always getting back pain. Oh, okay. Well, let's go do back extensions. 100 for a set of 100. Like we just strengthen that lower back.
Yeah.
You clearly don't know what you're doing,
right.
And so. Rather than trying to fake it, say, look, I don't know exactly what needs to be done. Maybe we need to stay away from this for now. I'll research it a little bit. I'll learn. I'll educate myself on it a bit. Or I'll connect you with somebody that can help you. Yeah. So you don't, just because it might mean you're losing a client because you don't know how to help them, it's not a bad thing. Again, that comes down to number one. That person has to genuinely care about
I totally agree with that. And I can give a great example of that was a client who was coming in soon. Her assistant emailed us saying, I want to train her for this. We've researched you. You seem great for her. And I was like, oh, yeah. And it was a decent paying client. It's going to be regular. And she said, she's got back problems. I was like, oh. So I sent an email back. I'm not the person for her to work with. She needs to work with Kevin. Kevin's has a back surgery. He's got loads of knowledge about how to build muscles up and build strength up and recover and all that. And they said, well, her back's getting better. She really wants to work with you. So... And because I said that now, that's just their built the trust. Like, this is an honest guy. Yeah. He's not training me for the money because he's obviously wanting to pass us on. And now we're training, her back's good and I've built a good relationship with her and you can see that trust is there.
Just a tip for anyone who is listening, who is in personal training as well. I'd focus on trying to build contacts and almost like a mini team where you've got a physical therapist you can refer people to, you've got a nutritionist that you can refer people to, things like that. That's chiropractors, acupuncturists, etc., etc. So then when you do have a client who has those problems or those issues going on, you can say, okay, well, this isn't my field of expertise, so go and see this person, go and see this person.
But with that, that's great. But with that one massive thing, you need to know that they're legit.
Yeah.
We get people coming here wanting to put the physiotherapist cards in or put the whatever it might be, and I'm like, no,
it's down to you to build those relationships and build a team of people that you know.
If I personally or none of us know that these are legit physiotherapists or legit masseuses or whatever they might be,
exactly,
we're not going to promote them.
Just an example of what I did, when I had Achilles tendonitis, I've had injuries from running. I saw a physical therapist down in Manhattan Beach, and she works with the US women's soccer team.
Yeah, so you know she's legit, right?
Cured me, like unbelievable expertise, really great. So every person that I train, I send them down there once every couple of months and recommend that they go and see her for physical evaluations and all that kind of thing. So it's just something else you can add to your toolkit.
So if we've got any trainers listening to this, I'll ask you first, Kev. Mm-hmm. We've got any new trainers listening to this, because we've just talked about how experience is a big thing. They've got no experience, they're brand new, they've just passed the NASM or whatever. What advice would you give them?
Find a mentor. Find a mentor, someone that you can shadow, someone that you trust, somebody that has a great background and someone that will care to help you, I think, progress. Because at the end of the day, again, no, we're not doctors, we're not physical therapists, but we are in the health and fitness, you know, and keyword health is that's what we're here for. You know, you have to have someone and be able to shadow and be mentored by someone that has those beliefs and those.
How do you find a mentor, and what do you mean by that?
Well, you have. I mean, it takes time. You don't. For me, I got super lucky when I was at Kentucky working with Todd Force Series, the strength coach for the Portland Trailblazers now. But it's just something about him. I knew he was a smart guy. He understood it, and he wasn't a know-it-all. He wasn't, you know, pompous or anything. Even though he could have been, he was at, you know, the biggest college basketball program in the nation. But you know, he took me under his wing, and he wanted to help me. And you know, it takes time. You know, you can try it out with a few people, whether it's in a gym, with a college, or wherever you go. Just find someone in that industry, and you know, kind of find a way to see if you can kind of help and shadow them. Because don't go into the door asking this person, hey, can I follow you around for 6 months and see how you do things? You have to be able to contribute somehow, whether it's, you know, cleaning the machines, putting the weights up, or mopping the floors, doing something. I mean, you have to find someone that will invest their time in you and really help you get to where you want to go.
If you want an example of that, not to blow smoke up you two's ass, but you gave me my chance and my start, and like what Kev said, I remember one time I was driving home after we'd done the classes at the Santa Monica Bluffs, and you sent me a text or called me or whatever and said, we're going to be opening the gym, I might have some work for you there, just doing desk or whatever. And I was like buzzing with that, because I was like, wow, I'm going to have a chance at a job in a gym. Just the opportunity just to be there. And then it came to like, oh, we want you to start helping out in classes and like taking the warm-ups and doing the stretches and all that. And finding a mentor straight away for me, I was really lucky, because I'd trained with you a little bit, so I'd seen how to do a boxing session. Yeah. I'd had that experience firsthand. And then Kev with his strength and conditioning background, and I was just around you two day in, day out, and was a sponge just to absorb it from the start.
Never got certified, right? You never done like a legit, like one of these certification courses. You kind of learned from
courses
from us, and then from online, and really researching.
Just passion, just reading about it non-stop.
When you're passionate, you do that. And I remember when it was first time, because we were brand new to business, we just opened the gym, and if we ever got private client inquiries, me or Kevin would take them straight away, because, I mean, we're charging whatever we're charging them, we needed the money. But it was like, well, me and Kevin were getting busy and we couldn't do them all. And then Glenn was like the first trainer on the roster, and I was like, someone's inquired about training, let's give them to Glenn. Remember that?
Yeah, oh, big
I remember that day.
We were all nervous.
I remember, I've told this story a couple of times, but like the first, I think you gave me like 2 or 3 people to train with me. I was like really nervous. I had everything planned out, written on the mirror and all that. And I think the first like 3 or 4 people that came in for one-to-one sessions never came back. And
never ever come back?
No, I think the first 2 or 3 never came back.
Hell.
And I was like, wow, this isn't for me, I'm not cut out for this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I didn't get like what I'd done wrong. And I was like Tony's not going to refer anyone else to me anymore. He's not going to have the confidence in me. And I was just like kind of beat up about it. I was like really nervous. And then
I never knew it was 2 or 3, or I would have said no.
Yeah. And then it was like there was like a pattern developing over a couple of weeks. And I was like, wow, they haven't come back. And I'd follow up with them. I'd text them. They'd be like, oh, great session, thanks. Yeah, I'll let you know. Never came back. And then I think maybe the 3rd or 4th one was Anna Peterson, who I still trained to this day.
Right.
Loved it and came back and scheduled regularly, and then that really built my confidence from there.
Yeah.
Go on, Kev.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, along the lines of a mentor's, if you're in the fitness world and you are a professional, you're trying to be a trainer that as a profession, find, you know, and again, I don't want to say, you know, Box and Burn is the best place ever to work, but
even though it is,
find somewhere that find a establishment, find a gym, find a facility who will invest in you. I think, and that, you know, when Tony and I sit and we talked about the goals a couple weeks ago, but you know, one of our biggest goals moving in and moving forward with Box and Burn is making one of our biggest expenses the investment in our trainers and in their and in their education and their what they know. And so, you know, it's every few weeks now we're getting these trainers doing other courses, whether it's through Onnit or TRX or you know, there's so many different organizations that do certifications now. But if you are a trainer and you're looking for something, make one of your biggest needs for a place of where you're going to work or employment, that place will invest in you, and they'll do everything they can to help you and progress you. Because if not, then I think their goals are not. Your goals aren't going to be aligned with theirs.
Which I think is pretty hard to find. I think we do is we get an experienced trainers coming in and they're like, wow, other gyms don't do this.
Right.
It's not a solid point. Anyway, Glenn, if you can give advice to someone that's just passed the certification, what would the advice be? A brand new trainer.
Just keep learning. I mean, don't get to that point like, okay, I'm certified now. I don't need to learn anymore. I'm legitimate. Just that's like the starting point. It's almost like I'd say when you win a world title, for example, it's like, okay, you've achieved it, but now the work begins to try and keep it. You know what I mean? So I feel like, you just got certified. You're starting out. Just keep on with the education. Keep hustling. Meet as many people as you can. Network like crazy. Build your network. And if you're good and passionate about what you do and you care, good things will come to you. I think location's a big thing too. I think we're fortunate that we're in a really busy town where there's a lot of affluence and people here love fitness. They train, every single day or twice a day. It's as common as like eating and sleeping here. So we're fortunate that we're in a good location.
Everyone wants to train.
Yeah, I think putting yourself in a good spot where fitness is a focal point is a smart move as well. So if you can do that, I'd definitely do that as well.
I think we talk about the education part of it, but there's so many new studies and philosophies and methods coming out almost daily now. If you just stop learning, you stick with that old school method, or your methods that you kind of learned in the beginning, and just stick with those and don't continue to advance, then you're going to be left in the dust. And it's you have to adapt to the trends, because one, obviously studies and the science behind it is getting stronger and stronger every few months. They're doing new studies, but if you don't stay on that cutting edge of knowledge, then again you're going to get left in the dark, and your clients are going to pick up on those things.
Oh, definitely. One thing that's helped me with that is blogging as well. Like constantly learning and being inspired by new methods or ways of training or different approaches to training. You absorb a lot, and then doing certification courses. For example, a couple of weeks ago I did the kettlebell certification with On It. Yeah. 2 or 3 days after that, I'm really inspired by it, and I was like, okay, I wrote a blog about the benefits of kettlebell training. So I think blogging definitely helps
gets your creative
side out.
Juices going. Yeah, I mean the education, but yes, continuing to to write a blog, it takes a certain amount of research, a certain amount of looking into what the topic, and that just gets those creative things going.
And you trainers always think, how do I get clients? I had Sean Bent. He's just started a new job as a personal trainer in a gym, and he's texted Sean. He was going to come over here and be a trainer.
Oh, okay.
And he says, how do I get clients? And I mean, there's not just a quick click of the fingers and you get clients. It takes time to build your reputation and as well promote yourself as a trainer. Social media now is massive. It's so big for getting clients in and promoting yourself. And one thing we tell all the trainers in Box and Burn is make sure your Instagram account is very professional. If I'm looking for a personal trainer for my daughter and I go on your Instagram account, would I trust you with my daughter by looking at all your videos? Is there pictures on there or videos on there of you out nightclubbing or out drinking beer? Because if there is, and then my daughter's not going to train with you. Right. So things like, just small things like that, people look at. Because especially, again, if I am looking for a trainer for my daughter, and I've got your name, let's say Sean Bent, for example. I'm going to plug you a little bit here, mate. Sean Bent, and I Google, the first thing I want to do is Google Sean Bent, personal trainer, and I want to see what comes up on there. So make sure your online presence is good.
Yeah, definitely.
And the prime example of that is Glenn, because, I mean, Glenn's even done better than Kevin on that. Kevin's not very good at his social media. He's getting there, though, but Glenn is really built his online presence up. If you Google Glenn's name now, he's flying in there.
Only because Kev's got bigger priorities. He's got a gym to run.
Oh, I know that, and he's not focused on training as much. But like with me, I've got lots of stuff on there through me boxing, but where like before even boxing burn, but you come with nothing, and you've really built up, and that's by, like we've just said, writing blogs, making sure your social media is very professional and very fitness oriented.
Like Kev said, he gets the creative juices flowing. It's like I love working on that stuff because I'm not sat there creating content for somebody else who's paying me to do it. I'm creating. It's my name. It's my face. It's like, what bigger motivation do you want to market anything other than yourself, you know? And
on this level too, Boxing Burn Academy, we're giving social media advice and self-marketing and promotional stuff as well. And one thing that I've put in there is start a podcast. Why not? It's a podcast's free, unless you've got only... You know, it's a bit more expensive. But no, podcasts are free to start yourself. You can get a microphone off Amazon for $30. You can upload it for free to iTunes. And now, if I'm looking at two personal trainers, imagine this, and they've both got the same sort of Instagrams, but one's got a podcast. Why would I pick the one with the podcast?
Well,
because he looks more professional.
He looks more professional.
Passionate.
Exactly, yeah.
Knows his shit.
Right. If he's took the time to go out and talk about what he's doing, you know that he cares about it.
Exactly. Right? So, I mean, that's a whole different road we can go down about how to get more clients and all that. But that's little things like that all add up.
I think word of mouth referrals is huge as well. If you're killing it with one person, you know, you put in all your efforts into that one person. They love you. They're going to tell their friend. They're going to tell their sister. They're going to tell their parents, and it builds up from there.
Offer a free session if you're starting out. I would offer a free session. Try and get them in, and then sell from there.
You got to ask too. If you got people that you work with and they trust you and you've gotten them results, most people generally will help you and get you referrals, but don't be afraid to ask as well.
Yeah.
I think you
don't
have
assume they're going to do it.
Yeah, you have to ask, and if they want to do it, they'll do it, but don't be afraid to ask.
We could talk about this all day. I hope if you're a personal trainer, you got something from this, and good luck. And you can reach us on social media, and we can answer more questions on there. You can find us online. Well, me and Glenn, Kev, you might struggle to find online. You'll find us.
I like to live in the
in the moment.
No. Like I don't need the spotlight.
Well, thank you for listening to the Boxing Life podcast, and you can follow us on Instagram at Boxing Life.
I do want to point out to Tony, you're 3 minutes late for your session.
Oh, yeah. This is the lady who we've just been talking about on the podcast. She's just walking, so I'm very unprofessional.
I'm kidding. No, he's very professional. You're always early, actually.
Hopefully everyone can pick up some little bits from that. And if you're a personal trainer out there listening and you're interested in getting involved, or you know, maybe in LA or whatever, moving out here, just
come see us.
We're all available to contact us.
All right, thank you. Until next time, we'll see you later.